Hi, so this week in class we looked at a lot of famous quotes about what people said about future inventions or things they didn't think would happen, and that I thought that was extremely interesting because a lot of smart and important people were actually wrong in judging whether something would be successful in the future or whether something could be created. After reading about 25 different quotes that went wrong, I chose about my top five, and just to go through them a little bit more, one of the quotes I liked a lot was, I think there is a world market for maybe five computers. This was said by Thomas Watson, the chairman of IBM, in 1943. So even though this was about 70 years ago, things have changed so much. From having people think that the world can only have five computers to our world now. So in the world today, we have so many different computers. I can think of more than five computers and or tablets in just my household alone, which is comprised of four people. And I think it probably made sense back then, 70 years ago, when they maybe had, when computers were like humongous and they took up a whole room. So back then, it probably wasn't very possible to think of the world having more than five computers because it was so bulky and there probably wasn't much use for it. But I think since then, technology has developed so quickly and so much that there are computers everywhere now. And another quote I liked is, everyone acquainted with the subject will recognize it as a conspicuous failure. And this was referring to Edison's light bulb. I actually think the light bulb is extremely important. I put it in my top 10 inventions V2. And I just kind of going back to what I said there was because a light bulb is so versatile, we see it everywhere in our daily lives. And like it really has allowed us to see in the dark and be able to work into the night, and which has really increased efficiency in our world. Another quote I liked was, "The horse is here to stay, but the automobile is only a novelty, a fad." And I think this is extremely ironic because it's kind of like the exact opposite. Right now, we don't see horses on the street, but we see a lot of cars. The fourth quote that I really liked was, "No, it will make war impossible," referring to the gun. And I think that probably was said with the intention of either, all mankind is great and, they would never use a machine or like a machine or a gun to start a war, but that's definitely not the case now. And the final quote that I liked was, "The Americans have a need for telephone, but we do not. We have plenty of messenger boys." And this was said by William Preece, which is from the British Post Office. And I thought this was interesting because just because they're British doesn't mean that they don't use the telephone.